Okay, should we start? Good to go?
We're good to go.
Great. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Burhani Hospital, we welcome our audience in the webinar today on post-COVID dental care and maintenance. We have our Dr. Kalpana Sinsinbar, who is associated with Burhani Hospital since 2012. And she has done her dentistry from KD Dental College and Hospital. She has done various certified courses in dentistry. She has also did 7 articles publication in international journals. And presently, she is our dental surgeon at Burhani Hospital with us since with 8+ experience. Welcome, doctor. Thank you for giving your precious time and to share your knowledge on this platform. Welcome once again, doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Khadija. It's my immense pleasure to be associated with Burhani from a long period, and today I will be enlightening the topic post-COVID dental care maintenance. So what is to be done is we all are aware of Corona, how it ended up in our country and all over the world. It's a global pandemic, and it causes various troubles to all over the country. But people who are suffering from COVID, nowadays their recovery rate has improved. But one of the major issue which we are encountering these days is people are getting worried that how to take care of our oral health, because the transmission of virus is much more via the inhalation method and by the transmission from nasal area to the oral area. Initially, for the detection also, the swabs were taken either in the nasal area or the oropharyngeal area. So that's the main prime area from where the infection is transmitted into the body. So today, before starting, I would like to raise a few salutations to all the COVID warriors who are constantly working in preventing mankind from this pandemic and making our country more and more secure in this COVID fight. Vaccination has also improved a lot. People are now taking more of informations and allowing all of us to get rid of this pandemic. So to start with, I would like to start my screen share. And so here it goes. So today I will be sharing my knowledge on the topic post-COVID dental care and its management. So let's start. First, I would like to salute all the frontliners who are constantly working and helping us to fight with this. And second, let's start with what's COVID. We all are aware of it. It started from China. It is a upper tract respiratory infection that is affecting all over the countries. Primary in the symptoms are fever, cough, loss of smell, difficulty in breathing, muscular pain, tiredness, dizziness. So as India fighting with COVID, what we have encountered some few factors are, India is the highest rate of oral cancer. The contributing factors are lack of oral hygiene awareness, more and more use of tobacco and its derivatives, dietary habits. We being Indians are more on carbs diet rather than the other countries. So that carbs intake indirectly helps in intake of excess of sugar. By the National Oral Health Program finding, there is a finding that dentist to the population ratio in the rural areas is 1:2 lakh. So think about the ratio the public is having to get encountered with the dental hygiene care. So we require more and more of social media platforms and other things to make people aware of oral hygiene. So next comes is the what pandemic in year 2020 led us is to the importance of hand sanitization, social distancing. And pandemic has affected us in various ways, like the WFH, like work from home pattern, which indirectly led us to the disturbances in our sleep cycles, or because of early lockdown days, there was a specific time slot that allowed us to do grocery shopping or necessities shopping in a limited time span. So that indirectly led us to irregular meals and snacking time, which ended up in mental load. People like me and younger age are more relying on binge watching on OTTs. That all has contributed to the lack of oral care and disturbed oral care regime. So finally, coming up to the oral care measures and tips we can take in pandemic. First and the foremost thing which we require to do is to brush twice daily. Firstly, the first thing we should do in the morning is have a ample amount of water first, and then take your brush. Make a habit of having 2 minutes spare with the brushing. Be a mild brusher. Don't use excessive of force. And last thing before you go to bed is also a brushing. The one thing which is required to keep in mind that the brush and the paste which we are using are for our safety. They are not for causing traumas. So toothpaste should be containing a small amount of fluoride. That's why we prefer its gold standard toothpaste in the market like Colgate, Pepsodent, Sensodyne. Those have that standardized quantity of fluoride in it, which indirectly helps in controlling the bacteria growth into the mouth, and ultimately it prevents tooth decay. Second point, drink plenty of water. As I emphasize that first thing to do in morning is to hydrate yourself. What does hydrating do to our body? First, it hydrates the oral mucosa. Second, rinsing with water timely, it helps us to decrease the bacterial growth, and indirectly it is also cleansing the areas. Brushing is not going to help you with the inaccessible areas brushing, but water is something liquidy that flows to the inaccessible areas also, and ultimately it helps in bacterial growth. It decreases the bacteria growth also and its activity also. Allowing having a proper amount of water also decreases the acidic level into the oral cavity. All of us are very much aware that our oral cavity is full of flora and fauna. So the bacterial growth is increasing day by day, and each time we have our meals, rinsing helps us in decreasing that bacterial load. Third thing which we are supposed to do is avoid having sticky food. Sticky foods are like those which are very much chewy, and I would say artificially synthesized, not the natural form of food. In case you are having a habit of having sandwiches, cookies, and all that thing, they are the processed food materials, so they do have a higher sugar level content in it, and indirectly they act as a substrate for tooth decay to occur. So many people have come to me in my 8 years of experiences in Burhani, and they ask me what are the contributing factors in a cavity. So here in this diagram, as you see, caries is a contributing factor of 4 different aspects in our oral cavity. If all of the 4 factors combine, then only a caries can occur. Caries or cavity can form. So what is the host? Host is our tooth. Microorganisms are the organisms which are into the oral cavity. Diet, as I told you, if you are more on a sugary substrate intake, it's a more prolonging factor lying there. And time. Time is the main factor. If you are habitual of having frequent diets, early snacking times, it is must that within a period of 5 to 7 minutes, you rinse out your oral cavity so that one of these 4 factors gets broken down and caries can't occur. So these are the 4 main factors. Interrupting any of those 4, we can't remove a tooth, we can't remove your oral organisms, we can't quit our diet. But what we can take care of is the time. So whether you are having anything or drinking anything, whether it be a tea or a coffee or anything, have a habit of rinsing as soon as you get rid of that food stuff. So next oral care measure which we can take is floss every day. Flossing is a must. Being a dentist, it's my favorite thing to do. Though flossing adds up a minute in my 2 minutes timing of brushing. But interestingly, people have a theory that flossing is just to be done to get rid of those food particles that are tucked in between the teeth. But that's not it all does. It has 2 more positive aspects, that by doing flossing, gentle flossing, you stimulates your gum, which increases your blood circulation so that it helps in maintaining your gum health. Second thing it does is, as soon as you remove those stuck food particles, it prevents the plaque formation, reduces the gingival inflammation, that is your gum inflammation, and hence is taper down the incidence of tooth decay. Ideally, if you are not flossing, trust me, you are having 65% of bacteria and food particles tucked inside, and which now or the later will end up into a tooth decay. So flossing is a must. Other care which is to be taken is, I would be surprised if people are not aware of using a mouthwash. Many of them has an ideality that all the mouthwash contains alcohol, so you can't use. There are many religions, like me being a Hindu, there is a restriction of alcohol. Various other religions also don't allow. But nowadays, keeping these things in mind, there are various mouthwashes available which are alcohol-free, sugar-free. So use of mouthwash is a must, but that to be done with the instruction of a dentist. So how does a mouthwash help? It works in 3 ways. First of all, it cleanses the area where ideal a toothbrush or its bristles can't reach. Secondly, it decreases the acidic levels in our mouth. Thirdly, it remineralizes. As we have our food patterns and we have some habits like bruxism. Bruxism is like night grinding. So there is a kind of wear and tear all the time going on in our mouth, which we can't prevent. So that quiet remineralization is more stimulated by the use of mouthwash. Mouthwash allows minimal remineralization of your teeth. So in that way, it is also a helpful measure to take care in your teeth. 3 points to be taken care of in use of mouthwash. First, it shouldn't be allowed to be used by children below the age of 12 years. Second thing, it is not to be swallowed. Third thing is, always take the opinion of your dentist prior using any mouthwash. Why we tell you that? Because every brand has their specific mode of action, how you have to use a mouthwash, how much you have to use the volume, whether you have to use it undiluted or diluted, that all can be told to you by the dentist only, and that on the other aspect will help you for getting a best oral care. Ideally, I have mentioned here how we can use a mouthwash. That's a basic 70% of mouthwash works in that way only. What I use is on this pattern only, that there is always a cap attached to the container of the mouthwash. So you have to take 20 ml of undiluted mouthwash, take it inside your mouth, allow 30 seconds of 2 cycles. Means around a minute, you can take a gap of 30 seconds, take a pause of 2-3 seconds, and then again allow that liquid to rinse inside your mouth, and then you have to spit it out. Don't swallow it down. After you have spitted it out, never do a water rinse. If you are using a mouthwash and then you are doing a water rinse, then it's of no use. Mouthwash makes an invisible layer all along your tooth so that the plaque development can't occur. So you have to keep it in mind that after use of mouthwash, you're not supposed to do water rinse. That's my favorite part. That's my main habit, what I used to follow from, I think, the year 2007, when I came to know the benefits of diet and benefits of actually having crunchy foods and veggies in my diet. So how does it help in maintaining our oral care? First of all, having those crunchy veggies and fruits, it not only gives you the high level of fibers into your body, but also it helps in increasing the jaw strength. By more chewing, you are using all your jaws for the mastication purpose, and indirectly it is helping your muscles of mastication as well as your jaws to get more strengthened up. It also elevates the blood circulation, so indirectly it is helping and strengthening your jaws and your oral cavity. Plus, it gives up the required amount of vitamins which are necessary for your good gum health. So have an habit of having ample amounts, at least a bowl of fruits and veggies that are in raw form. Never cook it up, never boiled it up, have that crunch in those things so that you can have the high amount of fibers plus the vitamins required for your gum health. That's the best part. Go for your regular dental checkups or screening timely and every 3 to 4 months. Please do visit your dentist in order to give you the best oral care. How does it help? First of all, if you go to your dentist timely, it's going to spare your time for ending up into the wrong appointments for those root canals or wrong appointments of those tooth removal. If you go at early stage that your tooth has just got a cavity, then you can get it done and allow yourself for those few minutes of appointments so that your dental issues is getting screened in the earlier stages and delivery of the treatment is also at early stages. So key note to allow is here is always keep in mind dentistry is not expensive, but definitely your neglect is going to be expensive. So what I feel the points here to be noted are limit your brushing time to 2 minutes daily, plus 1 minute for floss you can add up. So you can make it a 3 minute for my side. Then what is to be taken care of is allow yourself to have a mild brushing pressure with a proper brushing technique so that your brushing is a positive brushing. Over flossing is never helpful. I have said only 1 minute of flossing is enough if you know how to properly floss. In excesses of flossing or excessive use of pressure will end up into a gum injury, and that can lead to various other dental problems. Regarding about flossing and mouthwashes, I would always advise never go with the over-the-counter available instructions or products available over the counters. Always take your dentist opinion so that you can have the basic perfect benefits of use of floss plus mouthwashes. So I think I have given you the basic idea. Thank you for being a patient audience. And in case you have any query, we have mentioned our numbers. You can contact us and we'll be ready to help you. Thank you. Do we have any questions here? I have this question visible here, ma'am, which paste is best to use? Being a dentist and being a prime user, I totally rely on Colgate Total. That helps me in preventing myself from cavities, from bad breath, from gum issues. So you can rely on Colgate Total. But again, I would say, depending upon the issue you are having, you should do the choices of your toothpaste by consulting your dentist.
Doctor, what kind of toothbrush can we use? Any suggestion for toothbrush?
Yes, there are various availability of toothbrushes also available in the market. I always rely on medium bristle brushes, not extra soft or soft. And I always rely on straight in angle brushes. There are various brushes in those which are cross bristles as available, but then they again require a specific brushing technique to use. So I would suggest use a medium bristle with a proper brushing pressure. That will give you the best results with brushing.
We would like to know about mucormycosis. Can you shed some light on it and how healthy oral habits can help us fight that or
yes,
curb its impact?
This is a very known fungal infection in our country, but that came into a limelight after the second wave of COVID. Actually, mucormycosis is also known as black fungus. Actually, it is caused by a fungi known as mucormycetes that is readily present all over the environment, like decaying plant leaves, or else decayed foodstuffs, compost pits, animal decay. It is already lying there. But how does it spread? If we inhale the spores or we do intake the contaminated food, then only it gets transmitted to our body. How does it affect the COVID recovered patient? Those who were more on the steroids, or those who had diabetes, or those who are with some immunocompromised situations like underlying cancer or underlying organ transplantation, their body itself goes into an immunocompromised stage. So in those cases, body is not able to fight with that fungal infection, and it spreads to various parts of our body, like it spreads to the brain and sinus, that is readily seen in this second wave. Then comes the pulmonary, means it starts affecting your lungs, so that becomes a breathing disorder. Then it can affect your eyes also. As soon as it gets into the sinuses, it starts lying posteriorly to your eyesight, and then it comes to the eye issue. Until unless you don't get treated, that means if you are diagnosed with mucormycosis, you are supposed to take antifungal drug, that is amphotericin B, that is available in two forms, a dry form and a lysosomal form. But that also depends by a physician choice how much amount of dose to be taken. But ideally 5 milligram per kg of body weight is required daily dose, and it is supposed to be taken for at least a period of 18 days. And in case it is cavated inside your bone or the skull, to prevent the loss of eyesight and the specific area of your face, you have to go for the removal of the infected part. Otherwise, you will be in a big loss.
Okay. Any takeaway message for our viewers today?
Takeaway message will be please take care of your oral care. 3 things to be done: 2 minutes dedicatedly brushing, 1 minute for floss, and have a habit of rinsing after 5 to 7 minutes. You have anything, if any food or tea, coffee, anything, just make a habit of rinsing it out. That can give you the best results.
And that applies to the kids as well, right?
Kids are the best students you can get. You start brushing, you take them along with you, tell them how to brush, so that they have a bunch of friends going along. So if you are educating your kid, he or she is definitely going to teach others also. So they are the prime spreaders of this oral care messages.
Right. Okay. One last question from my side. Doctor, what about the proportion of paste to be used? This is a myth. Like when we ask our kids, we fill the entire whistles with the toothpaste. But this is very common thing which is being done. So I want you to tell us what is the right proportion.
Yes, see, I have encountered many mothers actually. They are like very curious that I have a kid, she or he is already having the teeth, but I don't know whether they are supposed to be brushed or not. Trust me, if your kid is having a single tooth out the gum line, you have to brush their teeth. If it is an infant or a toddler, the brushing technique is always to be conducted by the mother. They have that finger cap kind of a brush. Then on that, you can take a small peanut size, peanut also not to be correct, pea size of toothpaste over that brush, and then do a brushing for your kid. For
what about for adults?
For kids from the age group of 5 to adolescents, that means till 5 to 14, ideally the brush size, whatever the brush bristles active size is, you have to take a half width of that brush size of toothpaste, and then you have to use it for brushing. And for the adult, I would suggest more than a half of length of that brush to be covered with a toothpaste, and when use it, don't take a full strand of brushes bristle to be filled with that toothpaste. Then what happens is the foaming action of that toothbrush or paste will end up clogging your oral cavity. Then you feel like spitting it out early, but in that you lose that half amount of the toothpaste, and that is not functioning at all with the brushing technique.
Correct. Okay. Fine. Do we have any questions from the audience?
There was one.
Right in the chat box.
Someone has asked what kind of mouthwash we can use. About what kind of mouthwash, as I mentioned earlier, sir, that choices of mouthwash is always case specific. You can't be judging what kind of mouthwash is going to work well for you. So depending upon the underlying situation, you can choose your mouthwash. But ideally, if you ask me what mouthwash I'm using Colgate Plaques green tea flavor that works best for me and my family members.
Okay. We are coming to the end of the session. Thank you, Doctor, once again for your for sharing us your knowledge and your tips. Hopefully, it would be prove helpful to our audiences. And we are very thankful to you, Doctor, for sparing your precious time today and giving us this insight on oral care. We will try to follow what has been told. Thank you once again and have a good day.
Thank you one and all. And please do take care of yourself and your family members and take care of your oral cavity so that it can prevent you from prevailing diseases. Thank you and have a nice day.